Hi there, in this video I'm going to show you how you can set up your event ticketing. So this is going to be controlled within the events module, which is under operations. So to do this, you're going to actually start off with just a basic event. If you want to learn more about events, just go back one video in this playlist and you'll be able to see that. Now, I'm just going to be focusing on ticket types and how to create ticketed events in this. So we're going to just focus on that. I'm just going to quickly create a basic event and then we'll jump right into it. So it's going to be a 5K race, and we'll save that. I'm just going to make this event, and I'll say this is going to be on the 27th, and it's going to be from 9 until 11 a.m. and apply. Then I'm going to jump over to tickets. So now for ticketing, really what you're going to be focusing on here is the tickets tab as well as the registration form tab. The rest of this here for registrations, seating chart, invitees, so those are some additional features, but basically to give you a quick overview, tickets is where you're going to create the actual tickets themselves. Registration form is going to be the form in which the person is going to fill out to buy or RSVP for these tickets. Registrations is where you can receive all of the orders and attendees lists and get all of the reporting for all of the orders that have been placed. So that's going to be where you find that. Invitees and seating chart. Seating chart is more allows you to kind of create just a basic seating chart. There's not really anything tied to it. It just kind of allows you to create kind of like a grid and different things there. And then invitees allows you to invite specific people and things like that. But we're not going to get into seating chart and invitees here. Just tickets, registrations, and registration form. Okay. So to go over tickets first, this is the first thing you're going to do when you set up a 5K race. You're going to go into tickets. You're going to add your new tickets. So in this case, we have a 5K race. Let's say there are adult tickets and teen tickets. And the adult tickets are $10 per ticket, and the teens are free. So we'll say, we'll give it a name of adult 5K. And now when I click into description, that automatically fills in. Name and description should really always be the same. Name is really going to be more for internal purposes, and description will show up for the public. So different things you can do with that. Web access, basically what that does is it allows you to say, okay, maybe you have a membership system inside of Freedom, or maybe an intranet or a password protected section, so you can say, okay, for this portion of the website, people that have this membership access or are part of the intranet, they have access to this one different ticket. And so you can say, okay, for these different people, maybe they get a discount since they're part of a membership or something along those lines. And you can say, okay, for this ticket, only people with that level of access can gain access to this. So this is going to be where you can allow access to this ticket based off of whatever restrictions you have in place. So, but if you don't have any of that set up for your Y site, you're only going to have no restriction because you don't have one set up. So in this case, there's no restrictions. Okay. And then further down here, you have ticket group, and that's going to be something we cover later in this video. I just want to get through some of these things that are more basic first. So we're going to give this ticket a price. So it's going to be $10 ticket. And then we have inventory. So inventory, we see that there are actually three options here: unlimited, an inventory number, and use global inventory. Unlimited allows you to say, okay, there is no cap on this one ticket. So you can do that. You can say, okay, this one ticket, we're going to sell as many as we want. You can also uncheck that and specify a number. So maybe there's 100 for this ticket. But in this case, since it's a 5K, I think it makes more sense to use a global inventory. Now, global inventory has to be set before you actually create this ticket. So I haven't done that yet. So let's go back to this page here. And so now we have to say, okay, maybe there's 200 tickets available. Global inventory of 200. Okay. And then from that, we can move on. So now we can do the rest. So I'll quickly fill that out again. So adult 5K and $10. Whoops, $10. Use global inventory. All right. Now you have a few other settings here. So you can choose to hide and show specific tickets. So you can say, yes, I want to hide this ticket, and that will remove all the other options. Or no, if you just want to make it available. Okay, and then you can have some options here in terms of minimum tickets per order. So by default, it just says use remaining ticket inventory amount, and that's absolutely fine for most cases. Now, if you did want to say, okay, no, people can't buy any more than 10 tickets per order, so you can put a limit on that. You can also say maybe there is a minimum of 2 tickets per order, so you have to buy at least 2 tickets for this order. Or maybe it's a combination of 2, so you can do that as well. In this case, it's absolutely fine just to show the remaining. Okay, that just allows people to buy however much they want. And then you can specify available on and close dates and times. And so that's going to allow you to say, okay, on this given date and time, this ticket will become available. And then for close, it would do the opposite. It would hide it at that given date and time. So as simple as that, we can say available on as early as today. And that's kind of what it shows by default. We can also say maybe it's a future date, way in the future at that time or date and time it would then display. Okay. All right. And then same thing with close. So just use a date picker and specify a time, and then AM, PM with that little selector right there. So I'm going to delete that, and then we're good. Available options, I'm going to get back to that here in a minute, but right now this is just the default. So let's go ahead and save this. And I'm going to create another ticket called Teen 5K. And the only difference here is that the teen is going to be free. So ticket price is $0. Use global inventory. Set to no. Remaining tickets per order is absolutely fine. Available on and close. Good. Save. Now you can also do some things here with creating ticket groups, which I mentioned I'd get back to here in a moment. So now let's get back to those. So now let's say, okay, I actually want to create a ticket group. And so maybe this is a BOGO deal. So you can say adult 5K. So BOGO meaning buy one, get one. So you can say, BOGO. All right. So then you can say ticket group, tickets per order. You're going to get 2 tickets, and you're going to get buy one, get one free. And this is for the adult. And so then the price for this buy one, get one free would be $10, because it's $10 for 1 ticket. Buy one, get one, you get 2 for the price of 1. And then use global inventory just to stick with that same logic. And so you can do some different things with that ticket group. It allows you to kind of bundle deal some different tickets and things like that. So in this case, I'll go ahead and leave that checked and create it there, just that way we can kind of play with it. But so that's going to allow you to create those tickets. So now we have 3 different tickets. We have Teen 5K, Adult 5K, and the BOGO deal. All right. So now we can go further into this options. So right now we have first name, last name, and email. And so what this is here, I know this is kind of hard to picture. What does this mean? So this means is when someone purchases or just RSVPs for a ticket, they can set the actual attendee. So the form, the registration form, which we'll get to here in a minute, is going to ask for 3 sections of information. First section is the registrar, which is the person actually doing actually filling out the form, right? So that person will fill out their information. But then there will be another section for attendees. So maybe they have bought, 5 different tickets. And so for those individual tickets, there's be a listing for each individual ticket bought. And then you can say for each of those different attendees, those people have to fill in their correct information. So first name, last name, email. So the registrar would just fill in those attendees' names and emails. And so right now we can see that these are the only fields that are in there, and that's just by default. But first name is the only one that is required. You can add another option. So maybe you need like a phone number to get in contact with them. So you just say field type of custom. Unique ID is phone. An input method we'll just say is a text box. And we'll just say phone number. whoops, phone number. And then we're not going to have that required or anything like that, so we'll just save it. And then now that we have that addition one created, so maybe if we wanted to go into adult and teen, we can now see that phone number. And so now that's automatically checked by default. But if you wanted to uncheck it, that's going to say for this one different ticket, they don't have to fill in their phone number. It could also be something like something a little bit more unique, where it's maybe like a t-shirt. Maybe if the adults, they get free t-shirts or something like that. And so you could say maybe that option, the additional option might be, your t-shirt size or t-shirt color or something like that. So you can do different things with options. But for now, we'll leave that set the way it is. And then the last thing here is setup. So this just kind of controls some basic headings when we're actually previewing this. So let's first preview what we have so far, so that way we can get a better understanding of how this looks. Okay, so we'll hit that preview button. And now we have this. So right now we can see ticket types and price, inventory, quantity, and there's really nothing else on this page. But that's because if we didn't really fill out that detail section, this detail tab, if we did fill out all those event details like you would in a real event, all of those would show up on this page. So this just is an example. So let's go ahead and buy 2 adult tickets and 1 teen ticket, and then we'll click buy tickets. All right, so now we can see the form, right? We have the registrar information, which I mentioned. We have the attendee information. So we have adult 5K, and there's 2 of them here: first name, last name, email, 2 boxes. And then we have teen 5K, and so then we fill that out, and then the billing information. So then we have all these fields here. So and then it kind of totals it up. So we have 1 ticket, which is free. We have 2 tickets, which are $20. So it's a total of $20. And then we can just fill all this out with your credit card, right? So this is going to be that registration form. If we go back a page, this right here, this kind of little table, this is what we're kind of controlling within the setup. So if you want to override that ticket button, buy ticket, you can say like, maybe you have all free tickets. You can say RSVP or something like that. So you can change the name of these different labels and things like that. You can also override your table headers. So these headers here, ticket type, price, inventory, and quantity, you can make those different if you want. So you just click that and change them. And then you can also do, lastly, hide inventory column if you wanted to. So just a few different little changes you can make in the back office there with how that displays. Whoops. So now that that's all been created, let's go ahead and go into the registration form. So registration form is going to be very similar to the forms module. It's going to act basically in the exact same way that you build a form in the forms module. So if you want to learn more about forms, watch our video on forms basics and forms advanced, and that will give you a really good picture of how this works. Okay, but in this, I'm just going to go over the couple things that are specific to this registration form. Okay, so as you can see, we have registrar information, which has all of the basic stuff: first name, last name, email, and so on. But then we have this quantity events field, and it's hidden. So this is really important. Every registration form should have this, and it should be in there by default. So if it's not in there, make sure it's in there. But yeah, by default, it should just be in there. Now, attendee information, right? So we have that attendee section. Repeat placeholder. So this is what allows for all of those different, all of these different listings to appear. So adult 5K, and it repeats out two of these items, and then teen 5K, it repeats once. And so that repeat placeholder is actually what allows those to display. So that's also very important and specific to this. And then your billing information, right? So that's just the basic billing information using your credit card fields if you have a payment processor connected. Just as a brief side note, if you do want to take payment information, payments for a event, you have to make sure that you have a credit card processor connected to your website. If you have one, it will be located in between operations and sales. There will be a 5th tab called finance, and it will have commerce listed as a module. So if you have that listed, you should be good to go. And you probably also know already if you do or don't. You probably take donations through the website. So just as a side note, that's all there for you. All right. So, and that's really it. So for registration form, you do want to control some of those other things like notification emails, thank you page, all that stuff. It's all the same as of the forms module. So if you want to control that, just switch over configuration and you can take care of the rest. Now, lastly, you have registrations. Now, obviously, we don't have any registrations because we just created this event and it's just an example. But if you did have registrations or people that have bought tickets, those would display here. So you have orders, which will be the actual, like for this one, we're buying 2 adults and 1 teen, but it's all on one order. So there's going to be 3 attendees on one order, right? So that one order would display here in the orders tab. And then we can see all the information on that order when we click on it. You also have attendees, okay? So attendees is where you can see all of the different people on the roster. And you can even export this if you want. So I know a lot of Ys might want to take this like as a sheet and just check people off at the door. You can do that. So you can just click export CSV when you click on this gear icon, and that will allow you to just check them off basically. And then you have your groups. So like we had created those groups, you can see who bought groups here. And then one thing we didn't really get into, but is sponsors. So a lot of times there are sponsors for events, right? So people that are paying to host the event basically, right? Or help you host it. You can do that. You can create sponsors, sponsored tickets basically. So I'll just quickly show you that. It's in the ticket section again, ticket types. So when we click create, it's the difference here is that instead of choosing the ticket type as event ticket, which is just the kind of default, you can choose sponsorship. And that is gives you a lot less options, a lot less customization, but that's kind of comes with the nature of sponsors. There's not a whole lot that goes with them. So you can say, okay, name is the gold package, right, or something like that. And then for that, maybe it's $1,000 for that gold package. And then we're gonna have a maximum of, we have 5 gold sponsors, and then maybe there's a platinum tier, and maybe there's a bronze tier, and those different types of things, right? And so you can create those all here, and so then you can just save that, and then now you have your gold sponsor. Okay, and so now as you can see, it doesn't display that here. So if someone wants to buy a sponsorship, they actually have to get in contact with your YMCA, because we don't want the public stumbling upon sponsorships, right? So if they want to become a sponsor, just have them come in or call you, and they can that would allow you to then take the information basically. Okay. Now, if you did want to actually create that sponsor and add that, you would just click add a registration under registration orders, because it's a new order, and you're going to click that, and then you can kind of go through this add registration item wizard. So you can do same thing you would do on the front end, on the back end, but in this it looks kind of different. So you can say tickets, you can choose your ticket options, ticket group, and you can see your ticket groups, the BOGO deal, and sponsors. There's your gold. So if you wanted to do that, you can say okay, continue, and then you can click on that sponsor one, and then change their information and those types of things, and then just continue on their confirmation. So and then they've been added to the order, and now you can click finish, and then they now are listed. But in this case, there was no money charged. It was just kind of for demonstration purposes. So that's going to be that there. Now, if we go back, we can see that order and who that is and those types of things. So, all right. Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to support@thriveim.com, and we'll be happy to help. Thanks.